Hello everyone and welcome back. It's kind of weird to say that since I haven't uploaded in a long time. Today we're going to be doing something new on this channel. When I first started YouTube, I created this channel to share funny moments and to share my opinion on games and updates. But prior to creating this channel, I want to have an impact on other people's lives and help them. Despite being a small channel, I believe I can still use this platform for the greater good, and that can be accomplished through a new series on the channel called Squatchtalk. Now before we begin with today's video, you may ask what is Squatchtalk, and the answer is pretty simple. It is going to be a series where I discuss and bring attention to topic with the intention to help provide clarity and guidance, or simply another perspective. There will not be any judgment involved in this, but rather I want this series to be a place where someone can seek help or guidance on something that is bothering them, and they can get that answers not only by me, but by you, the community as well. I am not going to act as if I know everything, but I believe in myself and this community that we can provide some form of aid by sharing our perspectives and experiences. This series will be a place where everyone can share their experience, because there is no such thing as a one-solves-all solution. It will take all of us to find simplicity out of a complex world. To begin this new series, we are going to talk about an issue that I think many people are struggling with today, and that is being an NPC, or better yet, not knowing who they are. A long time ago, I was scrolling on Reddit and I came across a post by a user named The Weekend Bard. The Bard said, "I realize I'm basically the NPC of my friend group. None of them would rather hang out with me than anyone else. If one person has to be left out of something, it will be me every time, and these are all the friends I have." Now, for those who aren't aware of what an NPC is, it's short for non-player character, and in this case it's used as a metaphor to describe someone who is perceived as lacking independent thought or blindly following trends. When I first read this, it was sad to see someone view themselves in such a state. Life and relationships are much more than being the main character or even a side character. We are all unique in our own ways, and to title yourself to a limiting role only seems self-destructive in the long run. I am not saying that you are wrong to feel this way, but I think it's time to reevaluate yourself, your social group, and your options to solve this problem. For me, I see three options on how to handle this. Option A, accept being the NPC of the group and for the rest of your life. Option B, make changes to your personality to match those around you. Option C, which is my favorite, is to accept who you are and make changes to help accommodate what makes your life meaningful. I guess we'll address each option by order. Before we begin, make sure to share your thoughts about the Bard's issue and comment down below any recommendations that you want to share. Now, if you're going to pick option A, you're going to have to accept the fact that you are an NPC and that you will have to live with the consequences. You'll have to feel the isolation of socialization, the pain of not being more. For me, I do not consider this living, as you're limiting yourself to playing only a role in someone else's life. Maybe I am naive in saying this, but there is so much more to life than just being a supporting cast member in someone else's journey. But if you are so sure of yourself that you are unable to change and that being the NPC is the only option for you, then there is truly no help or advice that will be helpful to you. However, if you are so caught up in the fact that you are an NPC, I ask that you change your perspective just a little bit. Hear me out. There are many NPCs out there that have this interesting background that also provide benefits to others. As a gamer, I have encountered many NPCs that have a tremendous impact on me in ways I can't exactly describe. I think of all the gang members in Red Dead Redemption 2. Without all these different personalities in the camp that interacted with you when you played as Arthur Morgan, you would not remotely experience the world that Rockstar presented. In The Witcher 3, as you are playing as Geralt of Rivia, you'll come across many characters that will impact your thoughts and playthrough. Besides, when Geralt is playing Gwent in a tavern, he's out looking for Ciri and he'll come across a spectrum of characters. Good, evil, and neutral. But the encounters with these characters influence actions and responses, whether it's good or bad. Without these NPCs, the main character and their story progression is not the same. So let's dial this back and go back to reality. You may see yourself as this background person that does not contribute much besides following others or trends. But if you realize the value you add to others, then I think being an NPC can be manageable. I still would not recommend this option, as you are still putting yourself in a box and are not being authentic with yourself. Now, while option A isn't the greatest option, option B will be on the other end of the spectrum, and in this case, you'll need to shift your personality to match those around you. I'd like to think of this like a chameleon effect. Much like the previous option, you still have this thought that you are not good enough to be authentic to yourself and that you must follow others. Rather than accepting the title, you force yourself to match the group around you and make yourself into this main character. If you were once reserved and excluded, you will strive to be over the top and outgoing to finally receive that recognition that you always wanted. But let's be honest here, this is a facade. This is just as bad, or if not even worse, than accepting the title of being an NPC, because now all you're doing is wearing a mask that will eventually give away. You are never going to be authentic to others and yourself if you go down this rabbit hole. To be clear though, I'm not saying that people cannot put on a little bit of a show for others, but if you make that your personality, it will fail every single time. As I said earlier, option C is by far my favorite option because you are in control. You are going to have to accept who you are and make changes to help accommodate what makes your life meaningful. Instead of living for the recognition by others, you begin to recognize yourself. And this is important because once you start doing this, you'll begin to understand all these traits and characteristics about yourself that were hidden in plain sight. You'll no longer be that person who is simply there. You'll find value and worth within yourself. I know this can be hard for some to accept themselves for who they are, but living in the shadows of someone else's life is not living at all. You are just existing. The Weekend Bard mentioned that they were the one to be excluded from events. If someone were to be left out, it would always be them. By adopting this new and different perspective and embracing yourself, you'll begin to realize what matters and who matters. Sometimes it can seem difficult to walk a road all by yourself, but surrounding yourself with others who are more detrimental to your own health, and not just physical but mental and emotional as well, are not people you need to keep close. Your friends should see you as an equal, not someone who's floating around in the group. And I'll speak from my own experience here. I have cut out many friends over the years who were more harmful to me than just remaining friends. Whether it was just being excluded or treated differently, I asked myself what was the point of being their friends if there was no respect between us. And when I did this, I began to realize how much stress was being alleviated and how much growth I saw out of it. Sure, it sucked that I lost a few friends, but I would rather have self-enjoyment and respect for myself than having others trample all over me. In this case, I'm not saying to cut all your friends out of your life, but I want you to reevaluate your situation and ask yourself some very basic questions. Do I feel more happiness or pain with them? Do I feel included or excluded by them? And do I feel respected? After a while of questioning yourself, you'll start to get a picture of your situation, and you'll have a truth that you can either accept or deny. Regardless, it is up to you to decide how you want to find peace and happiness in your own life. But know this, sometimes it is best to cut extra weight that is holding you back. To add on to that last point, if you realize and accept who you are, you'll find other people who share similar interests and respect you. You'll no longer just feel like this tag-along NPC who is just idling around. You'll feel accepted by yourself and others. And just know this world is so vast and there are so many people and interests out there. Do not lock yourself up and throw away the key while in pain when there are options available out there. Getting out of the comfort zone of your own insecurity and being the NPC of the group can be scary, but attaining your self-worth and self-realization will be worth it. There are probably more options, but I think these are a few good standard options to evaluate if you're struggling with being an NPC or getting to know yourself. Before I end it here, I ask you to question yourself and ask yourself if you are happy with your current situation. Once you realize that there is a problem, then you can begin to explore options to improve yourself and the situation that you are in. I think that pretty much wraps this all up. This topic has been something that I've been wanting to cover for a very long time, and I hope it does help you if you are struggling with getting to know yourself. If you guys have any thoughts of being a NPC or not knowing who you are, feel free to share your thoughts down below. Thank you all for your time, and I look forward to doing more Squatch Talks in the future. Thank you all for watching, and as always, take care.